Good morning, guys. What is up, and welcome back to another video. Yes, I know we have neglected the Skyline for a fair bit, but at the moment it's actually running amazingly. It's been the daily driver ever since we've been having issues with the RX7, which yeah, it's kind of been ever since we bought it. I know it sucks. All I want to do is go around and drive it, but at the moment, this thing is my dream car, and it's not something that I wanted to ruin in 2 seconds. And ever since we got it, we've had terrible cooling issues on this car, to the point where I can't even drive 20 minutes away without it getting or reaching up to that 100-degree mark, which is a killer for rotary engines. So today we're going to be taking a big step forward with this car and sorting out some ducting, because this car doesn't have any of it whatsoever. So I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a backstory before we get into anything today, just in regards to the car and what we've already tried so far. So ever since we got the car, I drove back home, and then you guys will have seen the very next video. I had this car for 8 hours, and then it was already in the back of a tow truck. It's spewed its coolant everywhere over the road, and so I actually ended up finding out that this car here had a really bad coolant leak. So I didn't obviously pick that up on the very first day. It was burning it whilst I was driving around. The cooling system got too hot, pushed it basically straight into the overflow, and it ended up all over the ground. Had to get it back home, and I filled it up with about 5 liters of coolant. So we did that, got it back home, bled it all up, and ever since then it's been a little bit better, but it's never been great. So a lot of people have been giving me ideas and options and everything else to go with, and I have a great idea on how I can go about fixing this, but I'm doing one little thing at a time, just to take my time, make sure I figure out exactly what is going right, because I could literally just go out, order a Grady V-mount, you know, completely change the entire cooling setup, and it will probably fix it. But at the same time, I don't want to do that, because I want to take my time and figure out exactly what the issue is, down to if it is one radiator cap that maybe isn't sealing properly. So I really want to take my time and figure this out, and I'm making tiny little practical steps to do so, and this is just one of them. Now, my only thought, as well as to how I think the car is overheating currently, which is then forcing it to push past maybe a bad radiator cap, is the fact that it has a front mount intercooler. From factory, these cars have a tiny little intercooler that sits right behind the radiator right there, and it has ducting and everything else to it. However, on this car, a lot of stuff has been changed. So let's go out, have a little look, and see if I can find anything. Rightio, let's quickly dive under the bonnet. Oh, this thing is so clean. Righto guys, so as you can see, this thing has a front mount intercooler, which I was having a chat to Omar from Race Only, and he was saying that this may be a reason for your overheating issues. Front mount intercoolers are great, however, they are one of the cheaper ways that people go about cooling the RX7s, and it doesn't obviously provide optimal flow to your radiator. So we have the intercooler that's sitting up there at the moment, and then behind that we then go to a condenser for my aircon. Now, as much as I would love to get rid of this condenser, I do love my aircon, so we've decided to keep the condenser in there. And then we also have an alloy radiator. Now, this thing here was put in by RMS in Brendale, as well as 2 11-inch fans. Now, these aren't just like eBay spec fans, they're decent fans. I forgot the name of them. They are good fans though. Alright, so here's where stuff gets a little bit interesting. So if you guys can see, the radiator is actually pointed down at a very slight angle. So that's one thing to note. So first of all, okay, alright, sorry, I'll start from the start again. We have the front mount intercooler, which is obviously taking in all that front air there. These cars don't have a massive big opening at the very front. We also have the brake ducts that are still there, and then we also have the ducting for the oil coolers, so they are still there also. However, looking underneath this car, you can see that there is absolutely no under tray whatsoever. Now, not only that, but we also have absolutely no shielding at the very top here. I do believe they do have that standard, but I'm not entirely sure. But apart from that, but yes, we do have something we can put on top of here. So yes, we have absolutely nothing on top of here as well. So what I'm honestly thinking is, well, for starters, I have ordered 2 new caps, 2 new radiator caps. One for there, so that way we can just try and replace those and see if we can sort out that issue. I've also ordered a new Billion 71-degree high flow thermostat, which we're going to be putting in very, very soon. Also been having a chat to Race Only about their AST deletes. Also a oversized water pump pulley So that way we could even use that potentially. So there's a few little things that I can potentially do, but so far I've only ordered the 2 caps and the thermostat, and we're going to see if we can make a little bit of ducting for here, so that way we can try and keep this a little bit cooler. So what I think is happening is the air is going straight through that intercooler right there, and because the intercooler is decently thick, and it's obviously running hot because, well, my pod filters aren't exactly in the greatest location, there's no box around them, it's probably picking up some really hot air, so we're getting some really hot IATs, they're coming through the hot intercooler, and then having to get through the condenser, and then through this massive big thick radiator. Yes, it has some decent fans on it, but I honestly don't think it's sucking through very much. And the fact that these are also on an angle, I think that the air is basically going straight through that intercooler, and its air is taking the path of least resistance, which is going straight down, straight through the bottom of the car and getting sucked away, because honestly, that's in the laws of physics, that would be the easiest way that the air will travel. So basically straight through the front, down, and along the bottom of the car. It is getting a little bit through, but it's definitely not much. So yes, this is why I have purchased some alloy sheets. So yesterday at Bunnings I grabbed 2 of these really thick, or sort of thick-ish alloy sheets. They have enough play in them to bend really easily, and then they're also going to sit really nicely, and they're kind of light. I have scratched them up because obviously I put them on there, but once they're all cut up and everything, I really want to cover them in wrinkle black. I'm getting off topic, but I want to cover them in wrinkle black simply because if there's any more coolant leaks at the very front, the wrinkleness of it will actually stop beads of water from rolling off, and I can see exactly where sort of leaks are coming from. Also, it just tidies up the engine bay a whole lot nicer. So anyway, I'm going to create a panel for the very top here, which is sort of going to go around this little thingy, I can't remember the name of that, go down the very side here, also come around this intercooler piping here, go down the side there, and then underneath here, I really want to try and make an under tray which is going to bolt to those factory locations in the front bar. One, for a little bit of extra rigidity, it's going to finish on the bottom of that radiator right there, and it's also going to have a little flap at the very bottom that I'm going to angle down, so hopefully it picks up a fair bit of fresh air instead of air that goes through the intercooler, and hopefully we can get some nice fresh air onto that radiator right there, and this should work hopefully really well, and one can only dream. Not only that, but I really want to try and make an air box of some description for those pod filters right there, because they are in a kind of a bad spot. If you guys think about it, intercooler, condenser, then radiator, and then the intake for the car. I could imagine it's getting very hot there. So, alright guys, let's get into this. Let's see if we can figure out this cooling issue. So first of all, I guess we're going to jack up the car. Actually, no, sorry, let's not do that. This first piece is probably going to be the most intricate piece. I have a whole bunch of cardboard sitting over somewhere, so let's do that. I'm so keen. I also went back down to Bunnings this morning and grabbed a few things. So I grabbed some pinch weld. This stuff here, I definitely need, simply because yesterday I basically kicked the corner of this stuff and it just slices your skin open. It took nothing and I had blood everywhere. So did that. Also got a whole heap of foam board. I'm going to be able to use that to seal sort of tight little areas of stuff, as well as I'm also going to use it because if you guys remember, the radiator is actually sitting on alloy tabs. There was no rubber stops down there. So yeah, and also I noticed this. So it's hitting basically on the intercooler piping and almost gone straight through that. So we're going to be able to fix that up too. Not only that, grabbed a whole bunch of hardware. So we can mount all the stuff up. I'm pretty sure that was everything. So yeah, foam, 2 bits of alloy, pinch weld, hardware, and also some cardboard, so that way we can try and trace out some stuff. And yeah, righto guys, let's get straight into this. Let's grab some cardboard and see if I can just mock something up. I'm having a feeling that I might be able to try and retain some of the factory hardware here and work my way around these and just work it out so they don't have to do as much bending as what I think. So hopefully we should just make a really nice flat piece that sits across here, and then we can sort of cut it off around about here or so, and we can have the air go, and we can have another piece that sits down there. So let's get into this and see if we can work something out. Oh, and also I apologize for the amount of talking that I have just done. I really wanted to get you guys up to date with the way that it was all gonna go and what I've already tried and what I'm trying. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling again. Yeah, I'm just gonna do stuff. Rightio, so I've kind of developed this. I thought it was easier just to make like a massive big rough cut of something. So I'd have to quickly cut it back to the actual size of just the radiator itself, because I want it to stop exactly where the radiator is so I can create a custom shroud that goes at the back as well. So actually looks really, really good. So I can kind of like, I'm gonna go along and just trim up some of these edges so that way I don't have any metal going straight into all these wiring looms and stuff like that. But it's going to cover the entire lot. So there's other little bits like this, because obviously this needs to sit down a lot further, so I need to sort of like find out what exactly is hitting at the very top here, but that's looking really, really good. So it's a great little sort of first mock-up piece. So now all I have to do is quickly go around, see exactly what it's hitting, like stuff like, I don't know, just keep moving it back so we don't hit any of this. I've worked my way around that piece of intercooler piping, and then what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some of that foam at the very top here and stack it high, so that way I don't have to bend and move this alloy here and it can actually stay nice and flat. So let's do that, and then after that we will start sorting out down the sides here. Alright, so this is my final design for up the front. So this is my extremely rough template. So now I'm going to mark it out on this panel right here. I'm going to cut it out so I can actually, like, you know, really, really rough, so that way I can go along and I can actually cut some of this stuff out and make sure I do that all properly, because yeah, I obviously, like little bits like this, I don't want to accidentally cut out and waste too much material when I could have just, you know, made it a little bit smaller and then use my Dremel to get all the rest of it. So yeah, and hopefully my jigsaw can get through this. I highly doubt it, but I'll try and work it out. So yes. Now I grabbed this stuff here from Bunnings. Even though it wasn't the greatest looking stuff, it was just labeled as aluminium sheet, and if it's not the right material then I can just remake it and do it again. I'll keep all these templates so that way I can do it. But yeah, and also I'm going to cover it. I was actually thinking I could even like carbon skin it like what I'll do with the other stuff, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, quickly trace this around and then I'll start cutting that out. Still have no idea how I'm going to cut this stuff out, to be honest, but yeah, look at that. Mint. Let's do it. I am probably going to screw this up hardcore. I have never I've never cut aluminium before. Yeah, I see you cringing. I see you. I see you through the screen. Yeah, look out. Rightio, so with a mixture of a few things, so I have jigsaw, grinder, and also my Dremel, which is currently charging. I've managed to make this, and everything looks like it fits up perfectly so far. So the only thing I have left to do is this one right here, which I'm going to use to try to get a hole saw for. But yeah, I don't know my chances. I think it might just be easier literally just to drill around it and then punch it straight through. So yeah, we'll give that a shot. But yeah, everything's looking really good so far. It's actually lining up really nicely, and yeah, so we keeps working at it, and then I got to try and tidy up some edges, but I do have a smoothing disc as well for that, so we got to fix it all up as soon as it's finished. Plus pinch weld will help a lot. So yeah, it's looking real good though. I'm stoked. Rightio, more mess. I have this amazing creation. I have a little bit more to take off just around here, and as you can see, it's very sharp. I just sort of bent bits off and stuff like that, but that's why I have my little Dremel down there, because I'm just going over edges like this right here and smoothing them out. Just trying to get them as good as possible, where I can put pinch weld over them. But it's looking really nice. It's sitting flush with the top of the radiator there, as you guys can see. It's looking really nice. So yeah, it's gonna keep working away at it, and yeah, make sure that nothing digs into anything, which is my biggest point. So, oh man, this is becoming a nightmare. Right, so it does look very, very bad, but that is my final sort of iteration of this entire sort of thing. So now what I'm going to do is I've got some pinch weld, and then I'm just going to go around the outside, clean up those edges to make sure it doesn't rub through on anything, and then I'll chuck it on, and yeah, we'll also bolt it in. I'm also going to try and find some bolting holes. I almost got it close with the same thread pitch as this one here, but I'm just going to back out maybe this one here and this one here, and just see if see how long they are and see if they might fit. So quickly do that, and yeah. Rightio, looking at that thing from afar looks absolutely amazing. There is, however, some janky edges which I'm going to change up and do a completely new piece eventually out of a different material. I've just used 2 factory mounting screws, as you guys can see, and also the pinch weld that I got. It was way too big, and it was my turns were too aggressive. So if that was all perfect, then that'd be sweet. But also I need to change up some of these curves and stuff like that, because you can see there's still some holes everywhere. I need to find a way to, actually that's properly touching down there, so that's no worries at all. And also, because it is curved, it gives off this really weird sort of look. So I'm gonna have to go around and touching the top of that radiator the whole way along. Yeah, but apart from that, it's actually looking really nice. It'll look a lot better once it's in wrinkle black too. So
I found a blowing fuse.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Wow.
How do I change the fuse?
We're going to Talabudra. No, Double Island. On Wednesday. So you guys will see it probably on weekend maybe. But I hope you guys like that, because yeah, it's gonna be sick. We're gonna go forward driving.
Jet skis, wakeboarding, tubing, paddleboarding.
That's if I film it. Kind of want a day off.
No, you're going. I'm gonna bring all the GoPros.
All right.
I can't get this fuse out. It's like
Even if I don't film, Riley will film and edit for me. So, but no. In all fairness, guys, this was the hardest one to do. I thought, you know, there's only one way to learn how to do it, so just send it. So yeah, but if you guys can see, I did have to bend it so that way make it fit over everything. So I will redo it eventually, but at the moment it actually looks pretty good. So anyway, the next step is I'm going to be doing the ones down the sides, and then also doing the pickup on the bottom, but I think I'm going to do the one on the bottom tomorrow when I have enough time. So yeah, I'm going to see how I go with doing the side ones today. And yeah, fingers crossed they just work. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm gonna have to make like mounting brackets or something for the ones on the sides if I don't just use zip ties. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, it's actually looking really nice. Rightio, so I was gonna call it quits there tonight with just making that section there, but I was just having a think about the bottom deflector. So originally I was just gonna I quickly jacked up the car because I was a little bit interested in it myself this afternoon. So quickly jumping underneath the car, you can see there is this massive big gap right here. So at the moment what's happening, what I think is happening anyway, is wind's going straight through there. It's obviously slowing down a little bit. And then this area here, the easiest way for the airflow to go is out and underneath the bottom of the car. So yeah, if you guys can see, there is a massive gap here. Like there is a huge gap here. So now what I'm thinking about doing is putting a flat sheet on. However, what I was going to do is I was going to cut a slit so that way I could bend a certain section down and that would force air up. However, what I was thinking is I don't know whether even though there is a deflector that is forcing air up into the body of the car, I don't feel like it'd be very good still. Even then, there will be a hole at the very top of where the deflector goes up and into that is just as big as the deflector itself, which allows for potentially more air to escape than actually go in, and air is more likely to go around it if I don't get the angle correct, then because it'll be an area of, in a way, high pressure versus low pressure underneath the car. So this is where I'm not really up to date with my aerodynamic science. However, I am almost 80% sure that I'm doing the right thing here. So right here, quickly marked out, is I have a 3 centimeter air pickup. Instead of being like a deflector, it's more like a scoop in a way. So what I can actually do is, before it actually is allowed to enter back up and into the flat tray, I'm going to have this pickup right here, which you can see I'm going to bend this section up and then the other section flat so I can actually bolt it in. And this right here will allow me to pick up more air before actually letting it enter into the space, the JDM space. This way the design will actually be more sturdy instead of just having that little lip that's just flopped down and flopping in the wind. Which could actually end up ripping off my diffuser. But this right here will also allow me to only create little tiny air vents, which in turn will make it stronger, but also allow for more air to forcefully enter. Instead of having a small little tiny deflector, I will actually have a 20 centimeter scoop in a way, where air cannot escape from the sides, and it just has a larger volume to force air into it. So originally I was going to finish up today just by doing that, because it took a lot longer than I anticipated to make that horrible looking piece right there, but I'm actually really genuinely intrigued as to whether this is going to work. So anyway, first of all, I really want to test this out, so I'm going to go test this out. I'm going to quickly cut it out with a grinder, because I think it's going to be way easier. And I will show you guys once I finish cutting it out. Rightio, so I now have this, which I didn't cut out very well. A few little sections that just need a little bit of gentle persuasion.
There you go.
Alright, I will fix up that burr. But now that I have this, it's like almost like making a paper aeroplane.
Yes.
And I just have to fold it up. It's gonna be pretty cool actually. So a reason I also got this wood plank is so that I can actually stand on it and create a perfect 90-degree angle too. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I should just be able to bend this and it'll work.
Well, it's not that thick, so...
No, it's not that thick. So it's pretty easy to bend this stuff. Oh, that's hot. So... yeah. Make some cool noises, this stuff. Alright, let's quickly bend this little bit out the way. Alrighty, so this bit here, perfectly straight. Actually, probably be way easier to bend from this way. I have more leverage on that one. Probably should have bent it from this way, to be honest. Something along the lines of that. Yeah.
So I thought you originally booked me in
Yeah.
for the first day.
Rightio, so I just finished making this, and with a little help from Maxi, that pole right there and a rubber mallet, we kind of just put it up beside it and just kit it until we sort of made the original shape. Massaged it into the sport. This one here came out way nicer, because this one here I literally grabbed a pair of pliers and tried to start it. Didn't work. This one here actually came out so mint. Like, look at that. That is wicked. So, and this back one here will just naturally sort of flow with whatever we need to do. So if you guys can see, do you want to hold this real quickly?
Sure can.
So this one right here is 65 centimeters, which is just as wide as the radiator. And it'll sit probably like there-ish and act as a air scoop to pick up that air from underneath the car All the D-force, bro. It's sick. Alrighty guys, so that's where I'm going to leave it. So this right here, tomorrow I'm going to go out and grab some textured paint, whatever it is. Oh, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, so yes, that's up there, that's all good, and I've now made this little scoop down here, which is going to be so good. I really hope this is going to work. I might even have to put like a little support in the middle as well, so I don't know. I'll see how it all goes. Probably get down the highway and I'll start whistling and I'll be furious, but nah, either way, it's going to be sweet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and edit today's video. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have any tips or anything before I finalize this right here, please let me know. I know for a fact that with this stuff, I am going to have to paint it before it starts rusting. I know that it'll probably get surface rust like no tomorrow, and I'm not really fond on that. Even though this car won't be driven in the rain, even just washing it and doing everything else as well, it's going to rust it. So I know that painting it is definitely a must. I might even put like a rust guard down before I even do the wrinkle black. That's what it was, wrinkle black. Also, I'm going to pull the front bar off, and I'm going to also put some mesh into here, and also spray paint the twin oil coolers black again, because if you can see, it's all started to come off once again. These are actually looking in pretty iffy condition, but they work, because if you guys didn't know, the oil coolers are actually from the RS version. There's twin oil coolers, whereas the version down only came with the one on one side, I believe. So there you go. How sick. And also tomorrow, if you guys can see, I am going to do the side ones also. So the bottom plate really should be easy. I'm going to utilize all of these factory mounting screws across the front, so that way it holds the splitter and bumper, and so that way it holds the splitter, the wind deflector, and everything in place up here. And also I'm going to utilize these bolts down here, because I think that'd be really good, because I can't really mount anything up here because I don't really want to zip tie it to the power steering lines, because that would not be ideal. But yeah, there's going to have to be something I'm going to have to try and mount up to here, even if I can create like another little bracket that comes off these and goes around or something. I'm not quite sure, but either way, I'm going to have to make it all work. And then yeah, sorry, I'm going to do the sides tomorrow as well, so all the way up the sides of the radiator. Hopefully no air can escape past them. And then yeah, that's sick.